Good morning, everyone. This is a recording of the class, a message of the writing session. The class will start at 9 a.m. Colombia, 10 a.m. United States. I'll wait 15 minutes and unfortunately any student connected. But still I'm going to record the session and record the session preparation that I did for this class. Okay, so the topic that we were going to practice and talk about it is a message. That we were going to do. First of all, we're going to do the greeting and introduction. My name is Sofia Moreno Jaimes. I'm 26 years old. I'm from from Villavicencio, Colombia, but right now I am doing a intercultural exchange in Washington, D.C. I am like in sixth semester, but I am taking classes from other semesters too. Yes, goal with this session was like, first of all, like, what is a message? The key points that we should keep in mind when we write a message, and like questions and types of message that we will use for the rest of our lives. Because nowadays, because social media and everything, people always communicate by text or writing a message. As I was saying before, I introduced myself. My name is Sophia, 26 years old, from Villavicencio. One of the uh, activities that I had was that we will share social media, favorite social media. Like nowadays, we always write messages or iMessage or just SMS. We write message everywhere. So I wanted to break the ice with the students by saying which social media was their favorite and why. So we could by message in these different types of social media. Our goal. So our goal in this session was understand the right approach, express properly the message you want to share, and practice and get better in writing skills. When we're writing a message in Spanish, it's easy because it's our first language, but sometimes we can miscommunicate and we can also like express not in a proper way when we write a message. So that's why we have to practice with a little bit here to check if, confirm that any student has connected. I will continue with the presentation. Okay, what is a message? I know that for a lot of people it's very clear, but just to like make sure and confirm, a message is a piece of information or an idea that someone wants to communicate or share with another person or group. A message can just be like texting nowadays. Back in the days, it was very common to write letters, write a message, write telegrams. But nowadays, because of technology and long distance and everything, a message is something that we are always using in every day of our lives. So this is something that we use, like it's like, or is a big part of our routine. But it is important to clarify and confirm what is like a message itself. Okay, very important. We have to like think about three questions before we are answering or writing a message. The first of all, who are you writing for? Considering their age, interest, and relationship to you. Consider their age. Of course, you're not going to write a formal and very informative message to a 6 years old because first of all, it will be very confusing for them, and second of all, they are just starting how to read and understand messages. So it's very important to think about who you are writing for. Of course, interest and relationship to you. You're not going to write exactly the same as you write to your girlfriend uh, or your boss, right? Like you have to like identify who are you writing for and use the proper grammar words and to like communicate what you want to express. Second question is what do they need to know? If it is a message that you are going to answer for, you will need to identify your language and content that suit their level or of understanding. This is what I was talking about considering their age. Um, because you have to use a proper language that will allow that the other person will understand, will have a level of understanding with your message. Of course, identify your language. Like, what do they need to know, right? Like, if your boss is asking you for a report, or a teacher is asking you for like an essay, or like specific information about a subject, you need to identify the content that you are going to write on that message. It's very important to identify that and to like confirm and have a clear idea of what the other person needs to know. What do you want to achieve with this message is the third question, which is very important. If it is a question, if you're answering a message, you need to get the information that has been requested or has been asked for and express your thoughts or feelings. Um, so this is like connected to the second question, like what do they need to know? What is the reason of that message? We have to identify the reason of that message, so then we get the information and express our thoughts or feelings or opinions or report something from work or school or whatever. But we also need to keep in mind what do we want to achieve with this message. It's very important before we send a message or write a message. Okay, there are key aspects that we need to keep in mind while we write a message. First of all, clarity. Be direct and clear. Messages usually are short, um, but we want to like have make those short messages like very clear and direct with the request that the other person is asking to you. The tone. This is not the tone of speaking, of course, because they can't tell, but there are like proper words that you can use to match the tone of your words with the situation that has been talked in the message. It can be formal for business or informal for friends. You are not going to say like, "Hey friend, how are you? Yeah, sure. Don't worry, I will send this like report of this work right now, mate." Or no, you have to match your tone. If it is a formal language or tone, use formal words like, "Yes, I will be more than happy to help you with the report that you are requesting me right now. I will add the file, blah, blah." Like we have to match the tone that we write a message. It depends, of course, in the situation. Okay, second of all, be polite. We have to be polite in every message. Of course, sometimes we have disagreements with people, with miscommunication, okay, or misunderstand what the other person is saying or what we are writing. So we have to use proper language, especially in formal messages, so the other person won't get like a bad of passive aggression idea or something. We always have to use proper languages, proper words to be expressed how you are polite. And also, the last one, very important, check for mistakes. Always review the message that you are writing, spelling, grammar, and punctuation mistakes. Punctuation mistakes are very important because if like the message can be like change completely if you don't put the proper punctuation mistakes. The grammar and spelling very important too. Every time that like specifically informal messages, we always have to check for mistakes so the other person won't misinterpret or misunderstand what we are trying to express. Okay, now we are going to talk about types of messages. The first one, informal messages, are the messages that we most use pretty much. Well, it depends, but like we use it with our friends or family about like a meeting or catch up or watch a movie or like gossiping. Like informal messages, I believe that they're like the most common messages that we use on our phones or even on Instagram, on social media. Then we have the formal messages is a request for of information from a colleague or messaging to your boss or formal requests. As I mentioned before, formal messages are like a little bit more long with a very formal and appropriate language. So you can tell the difference between an informal and formal message. Also, another one that is very important and more here in the United States. I actually never like experienced that like a writing note, a thank you note is very known here and very famous, and it's pretty much expressing gratitude for a gift or support. So after a birthday party here in the United States, the people that was invited to the party, they sent thank you notes, like writing thank you notes, like showing gratitude and appreciation for inviting them. That is a very common uh, cultural thing here in the United States. Um, and also, like over text, when I meet with friends here in America, we always write, "Thank you very much for like taking time to meet and catch up with me." Blah blah blah. Personally, I never experienced that in Colombia. I don't know if this is like cultural, but definitely this is like very very important here in this American culture. Now the practice, I create this activity. Okay, I create this activity where we were going to um, pretty much write the answer of this message. Dear Mr. Smith, I would like to request a meeting to discuss a recent performance review. Please let me know your ability. Thank you. Availability. Thank you. So what we had to do here is that we have to answer to the person that wrote that message to us. Of course, we can tell that this is a formal message. So we know that, dear Mr. Sanchez, uh, dear Mr. Sanchez, I thank you reaching. Um, I want to okay to follow the business. So yeah, what the students had to do here in this situation is like they have to like organize. There is not a limit of time. They can spend like as much as they can, and if they need help, I will help them with um, to help them with the activity itself. And then we had also a word where they have to practice their writing skills, of course. So, for example, they had to write a message about it. when a student had to read this paragraph, like the idea itself of the message, planning a group trip. You, as a student, you want to organize a day trip with friends. Write a message suggesting the location, proposing the date, and asking for their abilities. So what I was doing here is that like I was giving them like the idea of the message itself or and also what the message needs to have, and then they have to write it below this. They have to write a short message with all that information. There are different types of messages that they need to write, like apologizing for a missed event, asking for help with homework, sharing exciting news, following up on job application. Very formal and important message that we write when we're looking for a job, inviting someone to a celebration. So what the students need to do or needed to do was like write a short message with this type of information. And that was pretty much it. The activity and the session that I plan and create for the students. This was like the attendance link and the appreciation slide. Um, as you can see, like any student could connect to this meeting. I didn't receive any message from them, but still I record this meeting so you could see like this the preparation, the session preparation that I did for this class, and like all the agenda that we had about writing a message. Thank you very much. My name is Sofia Moreno Jaimes. These are my practical classes, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.